Now, what we're going to look at today with Thor is setting up a foundation for singles play and lead play in your pairs and your triples and, well, there's no fours this year. But setting things up how you would like and what is going to be best for you in your play. So where do we start, mate?
Fantastic. All right. So as a leader or as a singles player, I'm big on establishing a foundation. For me, if I put my two bowls relatively in the area, everything else seems to flow and seem to be systematic from there on. Yep. Predominantly, if you're doing your job and you're setting up a good foundation and opposition misses, you can score multiple numbers. Yep. So it works for me. So what I try to achieve is, if I'm playing, for instance, down this way here, my very first bowl, I don't aim to nail the jack because it's very difficult to draw a toucher, as you can appreciate. Yeah. How many touches would you draw with the first bowl?
Yeah, very rarely. 1 in 10, 15, 20.
There you go. So for me, I don't aim to hit the jack my first bowl. I aim to always be 2 foot wide. Yep. Or 2 feet behind.
Yep.
So potentially, if you draw a circle around here, I'd talk about this quarter here's being the hot spot, the sweet spot. So if you come down here 2 foot wide, will be here, 2 foot behind, you're predominantly going to be here with the first bowl. So if you put a bowl here and then you drew inside that with your second bowl, would you think this is a good end?
Yeah, absolutely. You already started well there.
You may get a 10 off your skip up. Don't forget though, if you happen to be a foot narrow to here or 2 foot wide or a foot short to 3 foot wide, you've actually got a 3 foot target. Yep. You can be narrow by 3 feet or potentially.
So you're giving yourself what? Just short of a metre?
I'm giving myself roughly a yard. So my yard could be here, followed by.
So almost a match length diameter around.
Probably saying more. And the level that we've seemed to come across is if you've got two bowls in an area, you're going to give your team an opportunity to actually hold pole position. And your second's got a luxury position where if you've got two bowls here, your second can come down this side. If he drags it or she drags it, you've got bowls in the hedge to start with. Yeah. And the law of probability means that you're going to probably have a higher probability of winning the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
In singles play, you've got the key position. So many people try to nail the jack. They end up being short down here. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So take the pressure off me by thinking beach ball. My jack is a 3 foot beach ball. If I can get to the beach ball, my first bowl, I can somehow improve my second bowl. I like to think the game becomes a lot easier than stressing.
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, let's go down the mat and we'll have a look. We'll cut back when we're down the other end. When you're on the mat, what are your thoughts? Have you already thought about what you're going to do even before you get on the mat, which is what I like to do?
Yeah, fantastic. That's a very good question. For me, it's about visualising my shot before I play it. It's not about jumping on the mat and then going, okay, what am I going to do, brain? It's actually preempting my shot. So for me, my preparation would always be to stand back behind the mat, 2 metres behind the mat. I'm a big believer that the ball must be in the hand the same way. A lot of people change their grip, which could alter 1 inch down here, could be 3 feet down there. Yep. So if I try to do the same thing every time, it makes the game a lot easier, trust me.
Yep.
So my bowl's in my hand, prepare it nicely. Now, I know my bowl is going to be bending, so most people would aim at the boundary peg and work off that. So for this exercise, I'll aim to go to the boundary peg and try to finish behind the jack or between the jack and the ditch with the very first bowl.
Yep, righto. Give it a go. And just so everyone knows, we are on the 21 metre mark. It doesn't look it. It's actually a very long green. So you've probably finished a bit behind where you'd want to be. But, again, as we all know, that's not a bad spot.
So it's narrow from where I wanted to, so my mind is a fail. However, if you played the other hand, it'll be in the area. The important thing now is making sure that you make the adjustment with your second bowl.
Yep. That's pretty much where you want to be. Now, even though you're a jack short, or a bowl short, I shouldn't say a jack short, you're probably a bowl or two short, you're still happy with that, even though you were narrow, which is, I mean, you got to think we've just jumped on the green, so we've had no warm-ups or anything, so it's...
If your bowls come in this way, it's in play, and you've got a bowl back here. They're not wasted bowls. They're in the game.
Yep.
As long as you're behind between the ditch and that with the first bowl, you're not going to be upset. For me, that'll be a tick and that'll be a dot, which represents then 65, 70%. If you've got 2 ticks, you're 100%.
Yep. So that's primarily, and this is the one thing I've found. A lot of skips go crook. Oh, it's still short. Sorry, if you're that far short, it's well and truly in play.
Absolutely. It's all about putting bowls in the keyhole and then establishing and allowing your teammates to obviously feed off that and improve off that.
So that's not bad for. So we're playing with 2 here at the moment. So on this one, we'll step up to 4. I just want to walk through what your thought process is now. Same sort of thing. Your first 2 bowls are probably the most important in singles play anyway. But now you've got the 4. How does your thinking change, or is it different ends? Different strategy.
Yeah, look, it's actually, I keep it very simple. I make sure that the first bowl is going to be somewhat in the area, in the key area, like we said, 2-3 feet wide, bit behind. It could improve. And then you follow from then. But the first 2 generally for me would be foundation building. Put them as close as you can.
Yep.
So
Righto. That's not looking too shabby. What was that about having touches off your first bowl? But that's still...
That blocks the drive.
That blocks the drive, yeah. Which is a question I was going to ask you, but I'll ask you in a minute after you put down your second. Because you'll probably adjust by this half a foot. All right, now I'm going to quickly go up and change this head because I've got a question for you. Now, I've noticed there seems to be a massive tendency in people having a drive at that now. So if this was my second bowl, you tend to find, he's got one on the jack, I've got to get it off. What's your theory on that?
Look, there's a lot of people who do have the big drive and do like to break the head, but I mean, the probability of that jack staying in with that weight is very low. So a lot of people are good at it. I think it's more for show. The actual effect is very minimal. I think if you were to play a controlled hit or sit shot, your bowl stays on and you may actually move the jack back to your positive area.
Yep. So you'd only play with what?
So let's
because you
keep the bowl on. So as a second now, you want to keep the bowl on and not lose your bowl. So my skipper might say, look, you're 2 down, but we want you to change the head.
Or even in a singles game. More so singles games. You're out here by yourself. And I know a lot of people would have a hot head and go, that's coming off. I'm putting ditch or bowl or jack or bowl in the ditch. I'm getting rid of that because I don't like it sitting there.
Look, I would always play just arriving weight.
Just wait a metre on.
Yeah, look, I'll show you.
Half a metre. Go for it. Mate, you couldn't have played that any better.
But I'm short.
But only a touch. So, again, now you're looking at 2 bowls sitting there.
So now you generally, if you wanted to play a similar shot, you'd probably add, no, I'm not where I felt it at now, I'd probably add 2 feet now. Yeah. 2 or 3 feet, keep the ball in the head all the time.
So you're pretty much, let's say you're 3 down. So you've got 2 behind the head and 1 that's a metre short.
2 behind the head. Look, I'd be one to try to roll the ball through, but leave my ball in the head if I miss.
Yep, right.
It's all about maximising your bad shots are still good shots if they're still in the game.
Yep,
that's right.
Yep. And Jack, Jesus, the joys of having somebody half decent that can do that off a whim. But then again, 24 hours a week of practice will do that for you, won't it?
Oh, look, it's only good as what you put in, apparently.
Yeah.
And there's still more to go.
All right, so that'll pretty much wrap it up for this Coach's Corner. Hopefully it gives everybody... And again, you've got to adjust your area. So Thors got a 3-foot diameter around the jack.
Predominantly there, anywhere within 3 foot. That general image vision here.
Yep, kind of like that.
That is the area. And if you can put all your bowls in a game of singles within that area, you'll probably find the opposition on a maximum best team might only have 2 inside that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's okay to go 1 or 2 down, knowing that you can grind back and get them back to the next end.
And for beginners and first, second year bowlers, we're obviously stretching that out a little bit. I mean, your aim is, but
Can I tell you, I'd be saying to a brand new bowler, it's not about knowing the jack is about getting in the key area. So if you need to start with 5 feet wide, 5 feet behind, successfully share that with 4 bowls, then pull back to 4, and go 4-4, then 3-3, then 2-2.
yeah. So stretch it out and then come in.
Yeah.
Don't, because I notice a lot of people say, you've got to be within a bowls mat, which is 600 mil. You've got to be within a bowls mat and that's your grouping. Well, it's like, you're not going to get many beginners that are doing that. And you're going to see their confidence just go, I just can't get it in that area.
Well, even at the highest level, to achieve 2 bowls every end inside that, it's not possible.
Yeah.
We're humans. We have errors.
So again, for beginners,
Aim for 3 or 4 feet roughly around the area,
5 feet,
and then make sure you can make adjustment off that and improve.
and then improve and come in.
The game's all about correction.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
mate.
much, mate. I appreciate your help.
My pleasure.
This episode of Match Jackson Balls is proudly brought to you by Hooded Life, your one-stop shop for all your bowling club needs, both on and off the green, in collaboration with Bowlswear Australia. Best service, best products, competitive prices. Go to www.hoodedlife.com.au and get hooded.